Okay, we're going to install FreeBSD in a virtual box. Got it set up in my virtual box, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor, turn the video memory all the way up, and we're going to use the standard default VM SVGA video driver, and I give it a 62 gig hard drive. We're going to set up the base here, and then once you get the base installed, then it's up to you to install your desktop. There your option was, I was hit enter. We'll run a test on my keyboard. I would think that you might want to do that. Now here's very important. We're going to set a network manager. I'm a host name, and if you don't do this, you'll be in trouble. So I'm going to get ports tree, 32-bit libraries. I'm going to also auto install using ZFS. I'm going to change the swap space to 12 gigs. I gave it 6 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm going to give it 12 gigabytes of swap. We're going to use Stripe, and we're going to select our hard drive. It's going to ask us, are we sure? I'm going to say yes. The installation is on the way. So you might see from the notes there, the next thing is it's going to ask, when this screen disappears, it's going to ask us for a root password. Okay. Give it a password, retype my password, and we're going to set up an internet connection. And yes, we're going to use DHCP. I'm not going to use a IPv6. North America, both North and South, United States of America, Eastern or Central, most areas. This is funny, I want to set the time, but it won't let me. And then we're going to get moused, NT-update, NTPD, SSHD. I'm not going to select any of those hardening there, but we're going to add a user. Complete this little passage here. Now you notice when it said login group, I just hit enter, and that creates a group with your username. So now I belong to a group called Dennis and the wheel, because the next option allowed me to do that. Gives you a summary. I'm going to select yes, and then it's going to ask me, do I want another one? And I'm going to say no. Here I'm going to download the handbook, and by doing this, you go ahead and get the PKG installer that it will need. And it only takes a minute, and it's very valuable. If you download it and get it on your hard drive, even if you're not online, you can still get to it. Now it's time to exit and reboot. And do I want to go into a shell? I said no. We're going to hit reboot. Right now, we'll take the ISO out of the picture. All right, restart it. Auto boot is 10 seconds. I couldn't wait, so I hit enter. As I'm sure most of you do. Even the major sudoers, they probably have it set to -1, so they don't even see that. Okay, I'm going to log in with my username just to make sure there is a user. I'll make sure I'm online. Ping 8888. Now I'm going to change over to root user or use sudo, and we're going to do an update. FreeBSD-update fetch install. If there is an update, it will fetch it and install it. And that's it. We've done the completed installation of BSD on a hard drive. And now I'm just going to clone it, and we'll use this clone that I'm going to use for KDE. So that's it. That's the complete installation of FreeBSD. You're ready now to do a desktop. Hello there. You saw the installation of FreeBSD. Now we've got a base installation and that's all we've got. So I've got it set up right here in my virtual box, and I give it 6 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor, video memory. I've turned it all the way up, and I've given it a 62.5 gig hard drive. Let's get started here. Move this a little bit, and we got the delay of 10 seconds there. In the end, we'll change that. So we don't have anything really done to this operating system. It's just the base installation. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in with my user account. I'll ping 8.8.8.8. Hit enter. We're definitely online. Control C. Now, sudo is not installed by default, and I have not installed it yet, so I'll sign in as root. We'll clear the screen. And the first thing it says we need to do is freebsd-update, fetch, and install. If there's any updates, it'll install them. And as I suspected, nothing to install there. So pkg install, and we're going to get xorg, nano, in case you need it, KDE5, and sddm. And I'm going to go ahead and get a web browser. I think I spelled that right, Firefox. The camera's right there, so I'm having a look around it. Okay, Firefox space and drm-kmod. Now before I hit enter and get out of that screen, and let me show you, I'm going to install KDE5, but it comes in 3 different flavors, if you will, or 3 different sizes of installation, and they're calling them stacks. So for a small stack, you would install, instead of just Plasma 5 or KDE5, you would install Plasma 5 - Plasma. If you wanted to get a basic system, KDE base apps, and if you want to get a full stack, you install KDE5 like I just did. So KDE5, I think I'm ready. I'm going to hit enter. And this may take a while, depending on the speed of your internet. And I'm on a Wi-Fi, so I am limited. And it's going to use it's going to download a gig, but in the end, it's going to need 6 gigabytes of space. But this is the full Plasma. So I'm going to type Y and hit enter. And get out of that screen there. Come back to the freebs.org. If you'll look up in their handbook, you'll find X Windows System explained. And it tells you how to configure install an xorg, how to configure it using fonts in xorg, the X Display Manager, and desktop environment. So if you click on that, right here is KDE, and it's telling us how to install KDE. Now the only difference is they're showing X11/KDE5. Well, I found out that after KDE's installed, if I looked at and searched for X11 KDE5, it's already installed, so it comes in with that. And we're going to edit our fstab, the rc.conf, and enable basically the sddm login manager. But this link will be in either titles or in the description, and you'll see how to install KDE. There is one thing Linux hint. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. When you do your Google search, you're going to find several websites. And this one is Linux hint. But I noticed when I was searching on how to do this and trying to get a system that actually worked, I noticed that when they, see, I didn't go far enough. fstab, it's 6. Right here it says KD in the rc.conf file. It says KDM4 enable equals yes, and I found out that stands for KDE Desktop Manager 4. And without that, the KDE will not communicate with the Display Manager, which we're going to use sddm here. They use Slim, but that stands for KDE Desktop Manager. Close out of that. And that's not here. That's something you'll have to, or I'm going to show you something that I learned along the way. So this is going to take quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and just pause the video. I'll be back when it gets finished. I'm going to come back a little early. It's almost through with the extracting and installation. Let's go back to the website here, FreeBSD handbook. And the next step is KDE requires /proc, the process, to be mounted. Add this line to the etc fstab to mount the file system automatically during startup. So proc /proc procfs rw00. I mean, that's a lot of stuff came in just in 6 gigs worth. I was watching some of the programs and a lot of stuff. Here you're getting all your video drivers. That's nice. I did not see the VM driver, but that's okay. It'll get us by till we get into our desktop. Okay, all 6 gigs finally got installed. It always gives you, I love the fact that the terminal always gives you these advice or instructions. Here it's telling you it requires something for the gamepad to work, for the audio to work, and quite a bit of stuff. Let me get it Control L to clear that screen. So next thing we need to do is edit our /etc fstab. Hit enter. I'm going to go down, get to the bottom here. We're going to add proc, tab, /proc, tab, proc, fs, tab, rw, tab, 0, tab 0. Now this is very important, so make sure you've got your typing spelt right. They don't have to be in line like I just did them. I just think it looks neater. So the first one is proc, P-R-O-C, and then /proc, and then proc fs, and then RW and 00. So I'm in the editor. I'm on easy editor. I'm going to hit exit. I'm going to hit escape. Leave the editor and save the changes. Clear the screen. Next thing we got to do is edit our xinitrc.conf file. Okay. Down to the bottom here. And I'm going to put me a little line in here so that I know this is what I've installed, or I put in here, dbus_enable equals double quotes, capital yes, in double quotes. Next one is HALD_enable equals double quotes, capital yes, in double quotes. Oops, that's HALD, not S. Very important to get everything right here too. All right, so KDM4, we're going to enable that. Equals yes. All right, KDM, that stands for the KDE Display Manager. sddm, we're going to enable that. Equals double quotes, yes, end. KLD_list equals double quotes I915 KMS end quote I915 KMS. Very nice. So I'm going to hit the escape key, leave the editor, and one last chance to make sure all that's spelt right. And it is, so I'm going to save the changes, Control L. Okay, now we got to edit our xinitrc file. So edit, or you can just type in EE, and that would be our, we're going to edit our period xinit rc, and we're going to put exec space ck hyphen launch hyphen session space start plasma hyphen not equals hyphen x11 exec hyphen launch hyphen session space start plasma x11. Escape to get out of here, leave the editor, save the changes, Control L. Okay, technically we could reboot right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and edit the boot loader.conf, and at the top here I'm gonna put this kern period vty equals vt. Sure, that's right. This is another one that's real important. All right, now we're going to auto boot underscore delay equals quotes. I'm gonna say 5 seconds in double quotes. So kern period vty equals vt. Auto boot underscore delay equals 5 seconds. Escape to get out of here. Leave the editor and save the changes. Control L. And I do believe we can reboot. And if all goes well, we'll be rebooting into, or we'll boot into the sddm. From there, can log into the KDE Plasma. See if the auto boot 5 seconds. It is. So that part worked. This is always a little anxious moment, kind of like when you boot into Arch the first time, or the desktop environment for the first time. Setting the date. It go right straight to sddm login manager, and it does. Now for me, this is very important. You can try the Wayland if you'd like, but I'm just going to select Plasma. I know that works. And if you was on real hardware, Wayland may work for you. I don't know. I just know that in a VM, if it defaults to Plasma Wayland, and if I leave it there, when I log in, all I'll get is a black screen. All right, so this is promising. I'm going to give it a password. We're starting KDE Plasma by KDE. And there we go. Now, show you a couple of things real quick here. If we go to the display, you're going to see that here we have 3 choices. That's not good. Close out of that. We're going to bring up a terminal. Control-Alt-T will do that in Plasma. Now remember, sudo is not installed, so I'm going to have to sign in as root. All right, now we're going to say pkg install xf86 video VMware. Now we'll make sure that's spelled right here. Post installation xf86 video VMware. All right, we're in good shape there. Hit enter. Could have done a Y for automatically, but it's done. Okay, so that when I reboot, that will change all those options. And I should probably go ahead and install the network manager. If you'll notice, there's not an applet here, and there won't be. If you want one there, we're going to have to install it. So pkg install network mgr, hit enter. Proceed with Y. Before we get to the next there, I'm going to say, we'll go ahead and say reboot. And then we should be able to do something about the display. And we'll have a network manager applet, as well as the software network manager. Right. Again, we're going to get the 5-second boot. Yep. We'll go ahead and hit enter though, since I'm so patient. Getting close, setting up the time via the internet, network time protocol. Log in. Desktop Plasma is still selected for me. My password. And you could tell the screen actually had changed right there, the display. Let's see. Let me get out of mode I was in there. Now let's go back up to start menu. Type in display configuration. Now we should have a whole selection. I'm going to choose 1400 by 9. Say apply. Okay. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we're back into our Plasma. There's one more thing we need or can do. Plasma came in with a whole bunch of stuff. But if we look at the sddm, the only thing we get is run sddm, no theming. So we're going to fix that. We're going to bring up a terminal, sign in as root again. Say pkg install. And this one is Plasma 5 video, nope, sddm kcm. Install Plasma sddm kcm, correct. See that with a yes. Now I'm gonna have to log out for that to take effect. Cancel that, get out of sudo. Now I'll just log out. By the way, we had a network manager down there. Applet. Sign back in. Should remember the resolution. It did. And here is our applet right there for our network. Okay. Now let's go back up here and type in sddm, and you'll see login screen, configure the login manager. That wasn't there just a second ago. It is now. So here you can change your login screens. You know, you can whatever one you want to. I think it was defaulted to the Breeze. Auto start if you, oh sorry. Yeah. Didn't know I didn't realize I had changed anything. Yes, I did. Auto start, background services, you can turn them on or off. Desktop session, you can save a certain session if you want. Just say, for instance, you wanted Firefox to open up every single time you logged in. You can put it in your auto or desktop session here, and it'll start. Splash screen. Right now we're using the Breeze, but we can change those to none, to oxygen, or we can get more. Get new splash screens. It says right there at the bottom. Task manager. So that's going to do it for this video. That's Plasma right there, KDE. That's a complete full install. Development, a ton of stuff. Applications, education, some more stuff, a bunch of stuff. If it had it to offer, If KDE has it to offer, then the chances are it's in here. Office. And, you know, obviously there'll be some things that you'll want to add. Or if you're a gamer, there'll be games that you want to add, or you might use LibreOffice and you'll need to install that. Surprised that it doesn't come in here, but you can bet there's a printer in here somewhere. Document viewer, editor for emails. Huh. So that's KDE Plasma. That's how you install it on FreeBSD, FreeBSD13. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.